Hey everybody, Steve here, and today we're taking a look at Baseball Highlights 2045. This was designed by Mike Fitzgerald, released by Eagle-Gryphon Games. It was originally on Kickstarter last year, but it was just released here a couple months ago. And it's for 1, 2, 3, or 4 players, and a full game series. It's going to take you around 30 minutes to play. Now, this game, it's very different from some of the others I've covered on the channel. It's not a full sports simulation. Instead, what you're going to be doing is using cards that represent the players on your team, and you're going to be playing out mini games of 6 cards each during each of those games. And then at the end of those, you'll have a chance to purchase free agents or better cards to add to your deck. So in essence, this is a deck building game. And so by the end of the game, you're going to have a very different collection of players than you started the game with. And this is set in, as you can imagine, the year 2045, and baseball, in an attempt to bring fans back to the stadiums. First, they've reduced the games to 6 innings, and then they've allowed players to augment themselves with cybernetics to become cyborgs, and they've even allowed robots to come into the game. So it's a very different game from what we see today, although we might see a familiar name or two on the field. But what's it really like? Well, let's take a look inside the box. I'll show you a sample of play, and then I'll tell you what I think after further review. So here's a good overview of everything you get inside the box. But first, I'll show you the inset that's in the box. And as you can see, there is a lot of room in there for your cards. So whether you want to sleeve them or not, plenty of room, and lots of room for future expansions for this game. There are 4 boards that come with the game, so you can have up to 4 people playing. There's 4 different sets of these pennants that each have a home and visitor side on them. Then there's 4 of these different tokens. One of them's for keeping track of your runs scored. You can flip it over, it has +10 if you get a really high scoring game. And then this one simply keeps track of your games won. There's 3 different colored tokens to represent the base runners, slow, average, and fast. And then there's a very well laid out game booklet that'll take you through everything you need to know how to play the game. And then a nice touch, I thought, was it even shows you the rules for the first 5 expansions that are already out for the game, just to give you a taste of what comes in those expansions. And then there are 4 of these player aids, and they're double-sided. Give you just a quick overview. One side gives you a glance at some of the special rules, and then the other side just has the overview of each game turn. And then finally, there are the player cards themselves. The game comes with 4 starter teams. Here on the board I have Boston and New York, and then there's also Los Angeles and San Francisco. Now each of the teams has the same 10 rookie cards, but then each of them has a different set of 5 veteran cards. Let's take a look at the Los Angeles and San Francisco teams to see what they look like. So here we have Los Angeles and San Francisco. This is a sampling of their rookie cards, and then the veteran cards here on the second rows. So as you can see, the rookie cards are all exactly the same. They have the same 4 immediate actions, and then they have the same 6 cards that have the same hits and runner speeds and point values. However, we see that with Los Angeles, their 5 veterans, they have 2 cards that have offensive immediate actions and 1 card with a defensive immediate action, whereas San Francisco has 2 cards with defensive actions and only 1 card with offense. So during the first game, Los Angeles will maybe be a little more focused on offense and scoring runs, whereas San Francisco is going to be more about defense and then getting that clutch double to score the run late in the game. So just a small difference between the teams, but it's enough that after you play a few times, you'll be able to know what kind of team you want to play and then which team you'll want to start with. And then finally, there is a deck of free agent cards. As you can see, it's a nice thick deck of cards. So each game you will not be using all of these, which makes for a nice variety. And then even more if you add in the expansions that are available for the game. And so what's going to happen before each game, you'll lay out the top 6 cards here, and these are the free agents that will be available after the first mini game played. And then as each one is bought, they'll be put on the top of the lineup for that team that bought them, and then you'll simply fill it in with the next card in the deck so that there's always 6 free agents out there. But we'll show you how those work here in just a minute. The actual game itself is very easy. First, each team is going to draw the first 6 cards off their lineup, and then they're going to decide if they want to put anybody in their on-deck circle. And how the on-deck circle works, they're going to be for a pinch hitter. So you'll see that some cards have a PH on the bottom, and what that means is instead of playing a card that turn, you can discard them to your dugout and then use the card that you placed in your on-deck circle. So you might want to put somebody there that has a defensive action, like this one, he'll cancel a hit. So we'll say that's what New York will do. And if you choose to put somebody on deck, then you just draw another card, so you have 6 cards. And then you're ready to start the game. And just like every baseball game we know and love, the visitors will go first. So in this case, New York will go first. And this turn works. They'll simply play their card, and if it has any immediate action in the middle of the card, that's going to take effect first. This card does not. And so then you would go over and see if the other team is threatening any hits. And since it's the first card played, there's nothing going. And then you'll go back and you'll put the hits that are being threatened by this card. And what do I mean by the threatened hits? You'll see down at the bottom, there's a box here. In this case it says a double, but some cards will have 2 or 3 hits in the box. And so for every one of those hits there, you'll put a token at home plate in the color that it shows here. So in this case, he's threatening a double with an average runner, and then we go to the home team's turn. So Boston will go. So they're going to play this card, and you see there's no immediate action. So we'll go back over to New York, and that hit will go off. So they'll get their double, and then this card threatens a double, but this time with a fast runner. So we'll put that marker there, and then it would go back over to New York. And you're going to do this until the home team has finished playing their 6th card. At the end of that, whoever has the most runs scored would win the game. And then what you're going to do, you're going to total up the points. You'll see here on the side in the green circle, and that's how much money you have to spend on free agents. And whoever has the least amount of money in their cards that were played gets to choose first, and if there's a tie, then the player that lost the game gets to decide who goes first. Let's say with Boston here at the end of the game, they have 3, 4, 5, 6, they have 8 points, and so they'll take you, Nomo. When you buy a free agent, you're just going to put them right on top of your lineup, and then you have to send somebody else to the minor leagues. You'll see up here on the board it has a spot for the minor leagues. So you'll always have to keep exactly 15 cards in your deck. So we'll send this rookie down to the minor leagues. We'll put him underneath our board. And so that card is out of play for the rest of the game. And then we'll flip the next free agent. And now if Boston had any more points to spend, they could buy another one, but they spent them all on that one card. So we'll send everybody here to the dugout, and then it would be the other team's opportunity to purchase free agents. Now the way a normal game works with 2 players is first you're going to play 3 games against each other, and between each one you'll buy your free agents, and then after that you'll play a 7-game World Series, and it's the first player to win 4 games is the winner. And so we're going to take a look at the solo game, because I feel that the way that they made the solo game, it actually works really, really well, and it'll be a good way to show you a sample of a full game. So when you do a solo game, you are always going to be the visitor, and what you're going to do, you'll take the free agent deck and you'll just deal the top 15 cards for the home team, and that's going to be their team for the entire series. So when you first start, they're going to have a much stronger team than you do against your starter deck, and hopefully you can build it up to be able to take them on once you get to the World Series. So the same as a 2-player game, you'll play 3 games against them. At the end of each one, you'll purchase free agents, add them to your team, send some players to the minor leagues, and then you'll do a 7-game World Series. So just like the 2-player game, first I can decide if I want to put a card in my on deck circle, and this looks like a good candidate. Cancel 1 hit, and then I'll draw another one. Alright, and we're ready to get going here. So first I'll play this card here. It has no immediate action. It's the first card of the game, so there's no hits to resolve over here. And I'll threaten a average single. And then we just simply flip the top card of the home team's deck and see what happens. Now this one has an immediate action, and right away the AI got lucky because this one has an immediate action of canceling all hits versus a natural, which is what my player was, so that cancels that hit. And then I have no other hits to resolve, so we go back over here, and he's actually threatening a home run. Okay, so back over to me, and the only thing I have is I could reduce all hits by 1 base, so that would turn that into a triple, but I think I'm going to use my pinch hitting ability. So when I have a card here that has the PH ability, so I'll just discard him to the dugout, and I'll use my on deck card, and that cancels 1 hit, so that goes away, and then I'm not threatening any, and we go back over to the home team. Their second card has immediate action that cancels a hit, but I don't have any hits to cancel, and then he threatens a single and a home run. So I think now's a good time. I'll play this knuckleball, which reduces all hits by 1 base. So that actually makes the single go away, and the home run becomes a triple. And then I'm not threatening any hits. So back over to home team. And he gets an immediate action, which is clutch, which they get an immediate single if there's a runner on second or third, which there is. So that will drive a runner home. I'll go up 1, and we'll put a runner on first. I don't have any hits to resolve, so back over to him, and they threaten 2 singles. So as you can see, I'm out of defense now, so I'm just going to try to get some runners on base for my home run there. So no immediate action, both of his singles go off, so he'll move to second on the first single, and now on the second single, an average runner who's on second base will score, so that'll drive in another run. This guy moves to second, he moves to first, and then I'm going to threaten 2 slow singles. Back over to the home team, and they've got Nellie McGee, and she cancels 1 hit for her immediate action. So I'll just get 1, and then she threatens a fast runner with a single. And my 5th card here, so I'll play that, no immediate hit, the single goes off, average runner on second will score, and that runner moves back one, and then I will threaten average single. Back over to the home team. Oh, and they get a double play, so that removes up to 2 base runners, no fast, which I have a slow one, so he goes away, the hit gets resolved, and then he is threatening no hits, thankfully. Alright, so here we go, the 6th inning, my last card, and no immediate action, no hit to resolve. I'll threaten a home run, and now the home team's last card, and it's Troy Jeter from New York who cancels a hit. So he cancels that home run, no hits to resolve, and then he threatens 2 singles. Now at this point the home team's ahead, so there's no sense in me trying to play another card. But say if the score was tied, say I had scored 3 runs, and so we were tied 3-3, and I didn't want to let them get those hits off to potentially win the game, there's an option called the visitor save, and that's where you can either use your on-deck card, if you still had it, which I've already used mine, or you can just blindly flip over the top card of your lineup and hope that it has a defensive ability in it. So in this case mine, it has a walk, so it changes all hits to walks, which in that case it would still drive in the run because each runner would move forward on the first walk and then the next walk would bring in a run. But that's just sort of your last gasp effort to try to save the game at the end if the score was still tied. But in this case, the home team walks away with an easy win, 3-0. And that's the end of the first mini game. So then I would go through and I would total up all my points from the cards played. In this case I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 9 points. And I have to take Bucky Tulo here, a catcher for Boston. He has an ability that he cancels a hit and he threatens a fast triple. So take him, put him on the top of my lineup card, and then I will get rid of this robot rookie, sent him to the minor leagues. We'll flip over the next card, and now I only have 3 points to spend, and there's nobody there available for 3, so I would move everybody who was played to the dugout. Same for the computer, clear off all the runners. Draw my 6 cards, and then we're ready to start the mini game 2. Alright, so there you have it. There's a look at Baseball Highlights 2045. As you can see, a really tight, exciting game to play out, and I'm still reeling a little bit from Jeter robbing me of a home run there at the end of the game. But those are the kind of things that are going to happen in this game, and what makes it so much fun. There are just so many little things that went into the game. You can tell that the designer is a real baseball fan, but it's not so much that it's going to drive off people that, you know, aren't baseball fanatics. Like the way that the base runners are handled with the different speeds, they're there so the fast runners have an advantage because they advance extra bases and they can't get caught up in those double plays. The average runners, they'll score from second base on singles. Little things like that that you'll come to appreciate, that'll add to the depth of the strategy that you'll put into the game and as you're building your team. And the fact that there's so many free agents that come with the game, so that every time you play through, it's going to be a long time before you see and play with all of those different cards that are available just in the base set. And then if you add the 5 expansions that are already available, then that's just even more free agents that you can have, more variety, more strategies, more fun. My recommendations for the game, if you're a sports sim fan and you're having hesitations about the game, really it's such a fun game. And what's going to be great about this is the type of the game that you might be able to bring if you go to a regular board gaming group. This is going to be a lot of fun to bring. It'll probably attract a lot of people that want to try it because it's so quick and easy to get into. And then also, as you saw, playing solo against an AI, that works so well. I really can't say enough about how fun the solo game is in this, and I'm looking forward to finishing out this series so I can get back at Jeter for robbing that hit. I'm not going to let that go. And it's definitely a little bit different from what you might be used to, but it's really a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that it's a product that gets supported, so it's going to keep expanding, and you're going to see a lot more for it here in the coming years. If you're not a sports fan, I really hope that this is something that you'll pick up, that you'll not be put off by the sports theme of it, because it really is at its heart a deck builder that has a lot of great mechanics to it, and it's something that's really easy to get into. If you played other deck builders, this is something you'll probably be able to pick up really easily, but I find that the challenge of it is there, and there's so many viable strategies to the game, and no two games are going to be exactly the same when you play them. So really, there's a lot here for sports fans and non-sports fans alike, and I really hope that you're able to go out and give this game a try. Go ahead and pick up Baseball Highlights 2045. I'm sure that you're not going to regret it. Alright everybody, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. My name's Steve, and I'll see you next time after further review.